Hello again to all my brothers and sisters back home in Louisville. This is Stephen Piercy, Communications Director for Teamsters Local 89 out here in Las Vegas at the 29th International Convention for the Teamsters Union. This is part 2 of the Day 4 recap. If you have not watched part 1, I encourage you to do that so you get to understand what happened throughout the entire day. This part, this video, is going to focus entirely on the constitutional amendments. A lot of stuff happened during the constitutional amendments that you guys should be made aware of. So to start, President Zuckerman had several amendments to propose on behalf of Local 89's members. Those amendments were initially proposed a couple weeks ago by him at the Constitution Committee, which he sits on. Prior to that, they were mailed to General President Hoffa in order to be heard at the Constitution Committee. None of the amendments he offered were adopted by the Constitution Committee. So in order to have those amendments be voted on by the delegation here at the convention, he would have to propose those from the floor of the convention itself. Now, the vast majority of the amendments proposed today by the Constitution Committee itself were minor changes, or what we call cleanup language. For instance, one of them was just removing a title that was no longer used. So all of these amendments passed with no debate and no real opposition. They were all pretty minor things for the most part. There was a amendment about changing the IRB, which is the Independent Review Board, to the new program that's going to be taking over it if the federal government upholds the withdrawal of the consent decree from the Teamsters Union. But other than that, they were all simple things. Only one amendment had any real debate. That was Article 12, Sections 14 and 15. That language is about strike pay. So during the Constitution Committee, President Zuckerman had a proposal for an amendment that would include the first week of a strike in your strike pay. Currently, if you go on strike, you don't get paid strike pay for the first week. President Zuckerman is very passionate about that, not just for Local 89, but for the entire Teamsters, as it would give us more leverage to take people out on strike and members more security, knowing that they'd have a check coming right away. So this amendment was not adopted by the Constitution Committee when he proposed it a couple weeks ago. However, they did make a motion to modify the language in that article to increase strike pay in general. So when that proposal to increase strike pay came up, for that article, President Zuckerman took to the mic on behalf of the Local 89 members and called for his original amendment of adding first week strike pay to be included in that amendment. And take a look at what happened.
Shall be payable at the end of the first week and each subsequent week of the strike or lockout, and a fraction of the week's benefits be paid for, and I move for that amendment to be passed.
Fred Zuckerman, do you understand that? Okay. All those in favor of the amendment to the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye! We can't vote.
All those opposed to the amendment to the amendment. The voice vote, it is overwhelmingly defeated. Okay.
So I apologize for how shaky that video was, but as you can see from the video, President Zuckerman's amendment to pay striking members during the first week of a strike was booed by a large amount of the delegates present, and a large number of those delegates cheered when the amendment was rejected by the majority. Why any union member would boo increasing strike benefits to protect our members and cheer the defeat of such an amendment is is really beyond me, but that's what happened. You guys should know that. After this amendment, the remaining Constitution Committee amendments were read through and passed, and that's when, at the end of that, President Zuckerman again took to the mic and called to be recognized by the General President to propose his remaining amendments from the floor. Now, at the beginning of each day, the delegates here are given a schedule for the convention. In this schedule, which you will see on your screen now, 2 bullet points clearly state that the General President will take amendments from the floor after all of the Constitutional Committee's amendments have been finished, and that the General President will recognize delegates by microphone numbers and then follow the normal voting procedure for whatever amendments they propose. Despite President Zuckerman following the very clearly outlined schedule for when he is to take to the floor and propose his amendments, this is what happened.
I received a revised schedule from your office this morning that said that this was the appropriate time to make amendments from the floor.
We're going to take a slight caucus here.
What? Let him do it. That's good.
Really?
On this side.
No, my two's in there. Okay, that's good. One over there, that's two.
Well, this guy had to stand, right?
Okay, let's everybody settle down. Ruling is, under Robert's Rules of Order, you must take up things as you go down there. Take a majority vote of everybody here to go back. So I'm going to propose a motion. Does anybody here want to go back to hear Fred's amendments? Are there people here that want to hear his amendments? Says not to go back, and I'm relying on Robert's Rules of Order and our lawyers that did so that nobody told you that you could pick and choose. You had to pick it up as it came up. So if you had Article 4.
In case it was difficult to see or hear in those clips, President Zuckerman asked to be given time to propose his amendments. The General President, the General Secretary Treasurer, and the Election Supervisor stepped away from the mic to caucus, and when they returned, they denied his request. They stated he should have proposed his amendments when the relevant article came up during the Constitution Committee amendments, despite the convention schedule clearly stating that amendments from the floor would be heard after the Constitution Committee amendments were finished. The General President then said he would still allow President Zuckerman to propose his amendments if the majority of the delegates on the floor voted in favor of it. He makes a motion, that motion is defeated, and the convention goes on as if none of that even happened. President Zuckerman and the rest of the local 89 delegates were elected and sent to the convention by you guys, the members, in order to be your voice. And that voice was not allowed to be heard today at the convention. President Zuckerman had several amendments he was about to propose, including a couple that are very important to our members at UPS, proportionally fair dues rate for part-time members, and of course a big one for us out at UPS, preventing the forcible implementation of a contract that has been rejected by the majority of the affected workers that are covered by that contract. Both of these and other amendments desperately needed to be heard. They needed to be debated. They needed to be voted on by the delegates on the convention floor. Yet, despite President Zuckerman following the exact schedule for the convention and doing exactly what he was supposed to do, the General President refused to allow him to present these very important amendments or even to be discussed. President Zuckerman and the rest of Teamsters 89 delegates feel very strongly that this was not right. There's simply no excuse for preventing even a simple discussion on these amendments. But rest assured, we will continue, as we always have, to do everything in our power to protect and justly represent all of our members, despite what happened today. So that was the conclusion of today's events. Check back tomorrow. Tomorrow's the final day of the convention. It's a short day, so I don't know how much content we'll have, but we will put something out. So please continue following us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and thank you very much for watching.